Good evening, free enterprise fans. Tonight we have the club showcase of the 99 percenters, where it's both a boon and a non-boon to get first place, as this particular club actually derives from a type of mystery and a roguelike and a little bit of legacy, where you get first place, you only get to add 1 point into our big old Diablo file that just generates everything. I am joined in the booth by Esgrunt, Zaldi on tracking, and Death as our restream. How's it going, Esgrunt?
Yeah, it's going pretty good over here. As one of the other resident Mystery Club runners, I'm very anxious to see what we've got in store for us tonight. It's still fairly early in the season for 99 percenters, but so the flags haven't diverged very much from the very early initial flag run of what we've got for this club. But eventually, this club is going to become quite diverse and quite, dare I say, quite wacky, if it's anything like last season was for this race.
Well, I think since last season there was a lot of wacky flags that were removed completely from even being a possible chance of being generated, and even then, it is in our alpha. We can see that there is no wacky going on at all.
Not yet, at least. Some things we do know right off the start, given the nature of the animal of this, is that normally with a mystery seed, you don't necessarily. There's some provisions for not needing to complete all of the objectives, where there's a limit to the number of objectives that you need to complete before you actually get the crystal or win the seed. In this specific case, those settings aren't active quite yet, so we know that our runners will need to complete all 6 of these objectives in order to get their crystal. So we might be here for a little bit, just given the number of objectives that we're needing to deal with here and the nature of some of them. That pale dim could be hiding somewhere particularly sneaky, and that pink tail could be... I mean, the chances are fairly high that we'll only need to look at the main key item checks with the way the seeds are set up right now. But there's still some chance that we might need to check the summon spots, the moon spots for those objectives. With that said, we are now underway.
Yeah, so just taking a look there, we got some glitches on. We got the warp glitches, a possibility to be on, self life. It looks like back row. Looks like there's no divergence. All of the glitches are on except for the MP glitch. Starting off with 91 ethers. Okay.
Yeah, we've got Palom, we've got Yang, we've got Karate as the buy-in spot. We've got 399 hits as our starting hits. With the ammo setup as it is right now, we're guaranteed to get... I think we're still pretty much guaranteed to get 3 starting hits, and in this case, they all rolled the 99 kit. How appropriate for the 99 percenters.
And that's not a Palom, that's a Porum, that's a white mage.
Did I say Palom? I know it's Porum. I must have just said something wrong. Anyway, so our races are underway. That package as the starting key item isn't likely to really motivate the starting play. We do see Fiery Blizzard is off to Troya to pick up the free key item, which we're likely to get in this spike set, or not guaranteed to get. Warlink very close behind them.
Yep, I mean, free key item, you always want to get that. I could actually see somebody going to check an early package. It is a gated character check. So getting like an early Foo or an early Edge can really just skyrocket the early game for you.
Yeah, and that's a legend sword we get from Bedward here from our free key item check. In mystery seeds in general, we're not necessarily guaranteed to get that free key item, although I believe it is still a guarantee with this mystery setup as it is right now to get the free key item.
Yeah, so there is actually a chance here that it's either going to be the Super Smith or it's going to be Alt Smith. So either we'll get a really, advanced Final Fantasy 4 item, or we'll just get a random tier 7.
Yeah. So if I'm not mistaken, that one pot in the middle treasure room gave us a cursed ring, which is going to be very nice for later on in the seed.
I mean, hey, anybody can be your anchor at that point. You want a Foo, you want Sid, go right ahead.
Yeah, pocket anchor in a can.
Let me take a look at our shops here.
Yeah, both of our runners heading into the shops. With those 99 kits and those 99 prisoner shirts, we're going to be selling a lot. Those ogre axes are worth quite a bit of money. We're not going to have to worry about affording most of the things that we're going to be finding in shops so far.
And if it's just standard shops, and we're looking for the normal things of like Dwarf Axe to help out for back row, maybe some charm arrows, some curatives before Porum actually gets really, really online. with the stars.
And we know with the way the YAML is set up right now that it's guaranteed to be standard shops. That dwarf axe might come in handy depending on what characters we find.
Yeah, and for those that don't really know what we're talking about with the YAML file, it's a listing of weighted settings in a file of all the flags that are with free enterprise, and we put it to a weighting to where, okay, flag, like, let's just give example, like key items, we have summon, moon, trap, and main's always gonna be on, but the other three we could put numbers like 50, 10, and 3, and so it's higher chance of there actually being, you know, the actual summon monsters, because there's a 50 points into it, whereas like moon, it's only got like 5. It may be on, it may not be on. There's a slight chance.
Yeah,
so
and I will
generate different flags to where you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I will note that you don't necessarily have to have all of the possible flags in any given YAML definition. In fact, one of the central conceits of 99%ers is that not everything is available to turn on or turn off as a result of our races. But that having been said, free characters are on, and that is a Cecil that we're finding in Damsian right now.
Oh, we've got one half of a power couple. I mean, I guess we've got the pseudo power couple.
Well, there's the other half of the power couple sitting in Watery Pass. Rosa joins the party. Yeah,
I mean,
so
that's really all you need for any seed is just Cecil and a white mage, right?
Well, we've got enough white mages to win that twice, so maybe I'll find another Cecil somewhere. Have exactly twice what you need to win the seed.
I mean, double Cecil all day long, please and thank you.
Yeah, okay, so one notable thing is that, okay, that's Edge from Mysidia and the other Edward in Mysidia as well. It is currently the case with the settings for 99%ers that free characters only has about a 3/4 chance of being on, so that actually is something that we needed to find out, that we can pick up those characters.
Warlink going over here, going to Adlin first. I believe it is still vanilla trap chest, so gonna be able to loot. I think it's 23 here, and it's a lot of chests that's just gonna have some really good loot.
Yeah, well, I don't remember the exact number, but yes, vanilla traps is guaranteed to be on in this flag set right now. We've seen a couple of middle swords. Nothing particularly special that I have seen so far come out of the treasures we're finding here.
Yeah, just two middle swords and a dancing dagger.
I mean, this is guaranteed to be T-Wildish, so there's a lightsaber for whenever that Cecil becomes a paladin. Good interim until we get one of the really big holy sticks.
Yeah, I mean, I see that that light sword. I look and go, okay, how fast can I get up Ordeals?
Yeah, totally fair. And we do have one outstanding free character check, which is on the way up Ordeal. So if that happens to be at Tala or something, then that's even more of a reason to continue going up Ordeals.
So we'll have to see when our runners, well, at least on Warlink's side, if he decides to check out Mysidia first to get that edge, because that edge will get you through all of the
that edge will certainly give you an edge. Having an early edge in most seeds, especially with the vanilla equipment start, will give you basically just enough power to power through the entire overworld as you see fit. Which in fact is the central conceit of some other flag sets that I've designed, but that's beside the point right now. Okay, Warlink is in fact stopping in Mysidia, is picking up that edge. Fiery Blizzard has completed their check of Watery Pass and is headed to Mount Hobbs, which is a gated character check, technically. You only need to defeat a boss to get this character, but it does not qualify as one of the... it does qualify as one of the earned character slots, because it's not a completely free pickup. And that is Sid, guarded by Val Valis. That Val is not a boss you want to tangle with right now, and that Sid probably isn't worth it.
No, and Sid is an objective, but we've got many other character spots to check. I'd leave that Sid for later. Val, if I gotta go through Val, no thank you, I'm good.
Yeah, so there's a question in chat. So when do runners know which flags got on or off? And that's the beauty of mystery seeds, is that You need to know the game well enough to observe the effects of having any particular flags on or off. I dare say Tybalt is quite good at that. I might be able to explain a little bit more about the process that goes into that.
Yeah, so when it comes to when you're running mystery, at least like for me, for example, and if I'm looking to see what shop settings are on, if I hit an item shop, and there's a few things you can tell with item shops. You hit an item shop, you see like hourglass 3s, hourglass 1s, the tier 3 jams like fire bombs. You know that the shops are going to be wild at that point. If you don't see any of those, the next best option is any of the underground shops. Eblin for sure is the best. In standard shops, Eblin will have 2 tier 5 items. So we're talking Sirens, Bacchus, Leviathan, Hourglass 2s. Those will be in a gated shop. And then Pro, you won't see those at all. So it's kind of the way to figure out what your shop settings are. And then when it comes to the loot, it can be a little bit trickier because you're looking for, you find a light sword somewhere early on. You find, let's say you find a Bahamut in a random pot in Baron. Well, you're not going to find that on standard or pro. So it's probably going to be wild at that point.
Okay, and there's more to other flags, especially glitches, which aren't relevant for this flag set right now. But in the midst of that lovely description of how we look for flags, Fire Blizzard did decide to take that Val, was able to get through it, and has the first objective on the board, having picked up that Sid. Meanwhile, Warleg is on Mount Ordeals. The character on the way up was Rydia, who Warleg elected not to take, and we are fighting Dark Knight Cecil as the first boss on Ordeals. So kind of a French vanilla here. In most cases, Dark Knight Cecil is free. After those 3 dark waves, he gives this speech about justice and is on his way. So that's exactly what we're seeing here.
Yeah, no 4th waves, we know that free bosses are on.
Well, I believe that no free bosses can't even be enabled in 99%ers. I could be wrong about that, though. Meanwhile, Fire Blizzard is in Atline and finds Calbrina, the Dolls. With that edge in hand, this one flame will probably end the fight.
Flame is so good early on.
Yeah. Yeah, some of it is ninja. Ooh, we can unironically get underground now.
I mean, Magma Key, get me to those underground shops. I mean, what's the saying? Grind early, grind often?
Yeah. In any case, the second boss on Mount Ordeals is Water Hag, which is a little bit disappointing. We're using up our free bosses relatively early here, which means that they're not available for the later boss spots to ease up on the later boss spots, if you will.
We gotta have some pain for the runners, right? Give me an gauntlet at Masa that's required. We all love that fight there, right?
Yeah. Okay, so Fire Blizzard is headed into Baron Inn. The bosses here are one of our objectives.
Okay, so we'll see.
We see Baigan in the first spot. That's a good find. Guarding a Fu, which is also a good find. This boss spot is one of the weakest in the game. This flame will probably end the fight instantly.
Yeah, only 400 HP here total, so... And it's been split 3 ways.
Now, apparently the main body has more than 308 health, but Cecil's next hit is going to end the fight here.
Yeah, those arms only get like 2% of the health from the spot.
Yeah,
so
minimal.
Yeah. It's the second spot that can be kind of dangerous, and we've got a ruby here. Ooh, Earth Crystal on Warling's side.
Okay, that's Elements as the second boss here. Elements is a bit of an interesting fight for early game. If you've got a Cure 3 handy and one of these low health spots, then you can end the fight instantly. But ooh, there's our resident heckler Golbez in the mirror room on Ordeals. This is the fight you want to see in this spot.
This is just mean. I mean, the magic here is not too bad. It's just a matter of if Edge is the one that takes the demolish or Cecil, it's just gonna be too much for you.
Yeah. So in the vanilla game, the Golbez fight is heavily scripted. It's meant to be Rydia's reintroduction to the party. Most of the script still applies here. What's supposed to happen is Golbez will apply hold gas to the party and then summon Shadow Dragon to demolish the party members one by one until only Cecil is left. In this case, it turns out that hold gas doesn't apply if you've got one of several status effects that have a higher priority than the paralysis does. In this case, silence or mute is one of those status effects. Normally you'll see this done with poison, venom, or piggy or mini status, but silence works just as well for this. So our party members can now act instantly after those demolishes fire. So Cecil can immediately equip the light sword here, and we'll just hit Golbez, and we'll probably end the fight as soon as that attack goes out.
It's going to be at least 2 attacks, if not 3.
Yeah, okay.
400 going to take at least 3 here.
Yeah, Golbez is weak to holy damage, but Cecil isn't hitting hard. Ooh, that virus is not going to do enough damage to be able to knock out Cecil here, even a level 1 Cecil.
Yeah, that's what I mentioned. If it was Cecil and Edge both went down, like Sid for Young, in this case for Link would have survived, but anybody else, you high roll on that virus and they're just toasty.
Anyway, so Warlink is through that fight. You don't really care about having all of the party members up because this is a 0 experience spot anyway. Fiery Blizzard got through that Elements fight, picked up the Sand Ruby and that Fusoya as a result of that fight, and is now on his own trip up at Ordeals.
Yeah, for Warlink, I would like to see Warlink. I mean, you got Party Rock. Well, let's go rate that Treasury. Even Treasury sub 20 minutes on Wildish with no max tier item, so we have a chance of finding the shiniest of sticks in the treasury.
Generally, the earlier you find the treasury, the earth crystal, the more relevant the treasury check is early on. So I wouldn't be surprised if Warlink heads over there immediately, especially in a treasure setting like T Wildish, where the treasury is weighted to have some very good items and has the chance of getting those rare tier 8 items that I believe a higher chance than basically any other treasure setting that could apply here.
Yeah, the only other one would be like, and at least in T Wildish, would be the Evelyn trap chests. Would have a high chance of dropping the shiny sticks.
Yeah, it's a very good play. You've got your paladin in hand here. The treasury is going to have the highest possible chance of getting those items to you. Warlink is stopping in Silvera, interestingly enough.
Maybe looking for, cabins and some Star Veils here, maybe. Picks up some Thor Rages.
Yeah.
Or possible Kenazo somewhere in the near future.
Is looking in the weapon and armor shops here, too. I guess with the money in hand, it makes some level of sense to be able to look at the shops. But with S standard T Wildish, it's you're more likely to get the good gear from looting rather than shopping, I would think.
All right, with standard shops, we're looking for like a mute knife, boomerang, something for that edge. I mean, long dancing is not bad, but having the anti-mage or being able to back row him later on just helps out.
That's fair. Warlink is headed into Fabul, interestingly enough.
I mean, it still puts you the straight shot over to the treasury afterwards. I mean, maybe hoping to find a twin harp before going over to Zod, because once you do Zod, you kind of orphan the twin harp.
Yeah.
You maybe want to get some levels on the Cecil before doing Zod.
Well, that's also fair. I normally favor leaving Fabul till later if you can possibly avoid it. Just because you've got the Sheila checks in the Fabul as well. It's not always the case that you can get away with leaving Fabul until much later in the seed. But if I can get away with only coming here, once or twice, then I tend to try to do that.
So you're the single dip. You're the Rivers player.
Yes, indeed. And it has paid off for me on many an occasion, too.
Well, I mean, with just K main, I mean, you have a possible chance of summon or moon, but with K main, it is just a key item for you in most cases, and it's the hook. So it's, I mean, character and a really nice shop or shops in this case.
So this makes me wonder if Warlink is going to fade Antlion here and not find that magma key, and might go down the hook road in lieu of finding it. I think that's unlikely, but it's possible.
It's possible, and it could be a blessing in disguise, because we still have to find a Paildim out there, and Paildim could be on the hook route here.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility.
But, I mean,
the other thing this isn't something that you would go out of your way to do necessarily, but the completion of the hook road, you do get to peek the boss at the top of Tower, which is an objective this time around, so it could give us some insight as to how you want to deal with that boss.
Yeah, or maybe even looking for some decent dartables for Edge as well is also another option. Can be checked.
That's also a possibility. With S standard, you're more likely to find that underground, I think, but you can still find something like Slumber Swords early on, which would make adequate darts early on.
Yeah, Slumber Swords are good. You're not going to find the Drain Spears until you hit underground.
Exactly. Okay, Warlink also is now headed back up. Hobbs is probably feeling more confident in being able to take this Val now. Or not.
Reset. I mean, if you think about it, you have 2 at Zot, 1 at Dwarf, 1 on Hook, Moon. You have just a ton of other character checks.
Yeah, it could well be that
in your path.
Yeah. Could well be that Sid is the only Sid in the sea, so we might need to come back for him later anyway, but we'll find out. But Warlink is in fact checking Antlion now, so we're not going to see that fade. We're going to see Warlink get that magma key, which makes the hook route check much less likely at this point in time. We might still need to go there if Paildim is lurking on hook route, but certainly no guarantee of that.
Yeah, if anything, it'll be once you check most of the moon or the underground spots looking for that sparkle. I'd almost say like a last location.
Yeah.
There's 3 bosses that a lot of people tend to last location when on a boss hunt, and that's Package, King Queen, and Sealed Cave. Especially if the warp switch is on. Which it is in this case.
Yes, it is. Okay, Fiery Blizzard has completed Ordeals, has the Earth Crystal in hand, and is now going out of his way to check some of the, I like to call them the free boss spots in Mist Cave and Waterfall. Mist Cave is, of course, considerably freer of a boss than Waterfall is most of the time, but I still think of them as early game boss spots, as free boss spots. The only real reason you would have to take this spot right now, I think, if it's not Paildim, which it's not, is we have that Fusoya. The more bosses you defeat by default with Fu handy, the more spells Fu gets. So you want to defeat lots of bosses in order to get Fu up to his full spellcasting potential.
Yeah, 3 spells and 100 HP for Fu. You know, you're looking for Quake, Nuke, Cure 4.
Alright, both runners find Odin in the waterfall. Warlink decided it's not worth taking Odin right now.
Yeah, Warlink does not have the Fu, so does not have the possibility. You still get the spells regardless, but there's no real reason for him to do it right now. He's on the path of looking for Paildim.
Yeah, Warlink parked just outside Mist in a fashion that suggests that immediately after resetting out of this guards check that he is going to do the package check. Heads right into Mist, and there's another Edge as the Mist character.
Spicy.
Warlink decides it's not worth sitting through the 2 or 3 minutes worth of cutscenes. It could still be that the one boss behind that check is Paildim, since we haven't seen Paildim yet. But
we got Fiery going here, going to play everybody's favorite game, the good old Rate That Treasury. Let's see how good it is.
Okay, into the treasure we go.
Rate Moonveil, Longsword.
That white robe is nice. Masamune for
Masa,
Edge. An Avenger.
Okay. Like what I
right
see
now,
here.
Yeah, right now it's inventory boss out of 10.
Dragon Whip. I mean, we do have a pretty defense
There's a
sword.
defense sword. Protect ring's not bad. This is let
Was it
Edge and
Kane?
Cecil hit things out of 10.
It's
And
more of a
Kane.
Kane out of 10 because of the defense sword. Like,
Yeah. I mean, if we didn't already have the light sword, it would be equally applicable to Cecil, but still.
true.
Maybe we'll find a Kane at top of Zot and take him and let him hit things.
And here comes the spicy thing. Do we check for the Flame Dog? Because Flame Dog can have some decent loot too with Wildish.
And we know exactly where that is in the vanilla traps as well, so...
Yeah, it's like
I
5
don't-
stars away from passing, and it's a one shot.
No, we're not petting the flame dog today.
Aw, I am sad.
Yeah, it's okay. Maybe we'll get to check the Evelyn traps later, or maybe we'll get to check some of the other trap chests later.
You gotta touch the doggo.
Alright. Our tracker says soon there will be K-Trap. With the way the YAML is set up for 99%ers right now, it would take a lot of concentrated effort to turn on K-Trap, so I don't think that's happening anytime soon.
Yeah.
There, soon TM. That's that's much more accurate. Okay, Warlink now has his first objective on the board, having defeated the bosses of Baron Inn. Has that Fu, has that Sand Ruby. We'll see if Warlink decides he wants to go back and take a couple of those bosses he's seen or not. But in the meanwhile, Pirate Blizzard is at the save point in Zot, and very shortly we'll get to see, firstly, our first Zot boss. Immediately after that, we'll get to see who the two characters are, and then a little bit after that, we will see who the second boss is, and then the key item after that.
We also get to see who the Dwarf 2 spot is as well, and it looks like
That's
is
true.
going back for checking for spoo spells here.
Yeah, and Warlink is in fact going back to take on the guards to get Fusum spells.
Yeah, it has at least Virus, which is a really good early game spell. You always hope for to get that on Palom, and you can just sparkle.
Yeah, Sparkle. Aha!
Oh, hey!
Here's Lord Paladin. On behalf of
Yep, good old. And we are casting rocks, but here's the problem. Oh no, I always get these mixed. I always get Pale Dim and Dark Elf 2 mixed up.
Yeah, I know. Pale Dim is vulnerable to Meteor, unlike Dark Elf's dragon form.
Well, also, unlike in the newer versions, in the Steam version, they fixed that.
Yep, they did fix that. The other thing I'll point out, since I happen to notice it, is food does have warp right now, which will become relevant when we go underground, since Warp Glitch, I believe, is on.
Yeah, we also have that radio
Easier
tune. If we
on.
keep her around, she learns warp.
That's true.
Early.
And there's another Sid. So if assuming Warlink does Zot sooner rather than later, which is relatively likely
You're over here
right now.
Yeah, he's cleaning out his inventory. He may end up doing this treasury and then going up Zot.
Yeah, okay, there's the turn into the treasury. Yeah. The important part, of course, is that Warlink is not punished by not taking that Val early.
Yeah. And another video.
So, neither of these are characters that I think Pirate Blizzard wants to see right now.
Nope. I mean, double Rydia, you got double nuke if you had a way to get her to nuke. But doing Sirens just... She needs almost 2 million experience to get her to nuke. No.
Okay, and our boss is King Queen Evelyn. This is not a terrible spot to have a free boss turn up in.
No, and this is one of the spots that can kind of sneak up on you. If like a Wyvern was here. Yeah, about that mega nuke.
Yeah, this is not a spot that you want to see Wyvern in, just due to the well, not necessarily lengthy in comparison to other things, but there is a fair amount of cutscene immediately getting into this fight, plus whatever you want to do with taking the party members that you get just before this and equipping and so on and so forth. Less important if you've got something like See No earned on you, you've got the piggies in the tower instead of characters here, but even without that, you don't want to have to spend time setting up for this fight again.
Yeah. And here comes a Warlink, hot on Fiery's tail. And then at that point, I think all the overworld stuff's done, and we found our boss, so that package check is not going to be done.
Yeah, well, there's absolutely no reason to do package at this point now. We do get the Cure 4 for Fu out of that on Fiery Blizzard size as well. I believe that was Ice 3. Okay, and our key item is the Baron Key.
Baron Key. Well, I mean, we're right here. We still gotta find that Luca Cave. It is a K-main check, plus also the Pinktail, so going right back in to do another check, I can see it being
No, Fire Blizzard is choosing to head underground instead, by all appearances.
I mean, if you're playing the numbers game of, density of key items, you've got Dwarf with Warp Glitch, which is 2, the freebie down in Feymarch. Plus, you also have to do lower babbles to the Luge spot.
Yeah. Like, we're at a point where we're technically 2 items away from Go Mode here, those being the Loka Key and the Pinktail itself. That having been said, we also need a way to get to Zeromus, be that via the Darkness Crystal or finding a pass somewhere.
Yeah, I hope our runners check the Eblin shop, with it being the 2 tier 5s. I mean, you might find sirens in Dwarf, Tower, or Feymarch, but...
Yep.
Or are we going to steal them?
Well, we do have that edge, and we do need to go into the tower anyway to complete that one objective, so it's not off the table to be stealing sirens at this point.
Because even with the standard shops, there's a chance that sirens just do not appear.
Well, with Fiery Blizzard heading underground, sirens are either going to be in one of these underground shops, be that's the one in Tomra, which it looks like Fiery Blizzard is heading. No, Fiery Blizzard changes his mind and is headed to the Feymarch first. But either the shop in the Feymarch, the shop in Tomra, or the shop in Dwarf is likely to have sirens. If it's not one of those two, it's either going to be the shop in Cave Eblin along the Hook route, although Fiery Blizzard doesn't have the Hook yet, having not done Fabul, or the shop on the Moon.
Yeah. So the thing is, another thing we've kind of noticed here, kind of, going back to figuring out flags, we haven't gotten what some of us will call a dud item. So we haven't gotten like a Blizzard Spear or a Protect Ring from any of the key item locations.
Also frequently called Zonks. And that's a rat tail from the Feymarch freebie, which is in fact another key item. With the very high hit rate that we've had for key items and key item checks right now, it is very likely that K main is the only key item flag that's on right now. Which isn't exactly which wouldn't really be surprising. The chances are fairly low right now that K Moon at 20% or K Summon at 7% will be on right now. So it is very likely that only K Main is on right now.
Yeah. So I mean, we know where all the key items will eventually be. It's just a matter of finding them. We know that if we do the warp glitch, anything in the sealed cave will not lead towards the Luca cave.
Yeah, so speaking of shopping for darts, we did see Ninja Stars in the Feymarch item shop. Fire Blizzard elected not to buy any, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, the Shurikens and the Ninja Stars, they're great. They have about the same relative power as the Drain Spears, but the animation time.
Yeah, the Drain Spear is slightly more powerful than a Ninja Star, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, and they recently, in the most recent patch that came out before the last tournament, they increased the price of the Drain Spears. So it was like...
Yeah, curiously, Drain Spears make much better darts than they do conventional weapons. Drain Spears have very low accuracy, so their actual attack power is considerably less than their statistics would suggest. Not to mention the stat penalties from wielding one, which oftentimes you'll give someone like Kane a Drain Spear just to reduce his agility to make him anchor.
There's a full moon and picked up another. Oh, actually, Fire did not have the light sword from Eblin, so picks up that for Cecil.
Yeah, so yeah, speaking of that treasury giving you more of a Cecil if you don't have that light sword, there you go. Okay, yeah, that full moon lets us apply the back row glitch to Edge. The back row glitch, of course, is the conceit that in the vanilla game, once you have a item that does back row, full damage from the back row equipped in the correct hand, which in Edge's case is his right hand, that flag never turns off. So equipping that item will allow Edge to do full damage from the back row going forward, no matter what he has equipped.
Yeah, I mean, it'll do full damage both if you're in the back row or if the enemy's in the back row, because the enemy does have a front row and back row.
Anyway, here's D-Mist in Dwarf 1. This is a little bit of an annoying spot to find D-Mist in. We've got Fu with Quake right now. This fight is still going to be relatively short. But D-Mist in sufficiently high health spots is not something that you can berserk against. But we have Fu with Quake, we have Rudy with Leviathan. We have Cecil swinging that defense sword. We've got Edge swinging his Masamune and longsword. This fight will be over before D-Mist can turn into Mist.
Yeah, I would have opted for a virus cast there instead of a Quake. Quake does have a little bit of a cast time.
Yeah.
Virus is more instant, so. But we're through Dwarf 1 now. We'll see what Dwarf 2, I think.
Well, there's Fu getting nuke.
Missed the boss when we checked this out for Dwarf 2, so.
It's Keinatsu. It's Turtle!
Okay. That's not scary.
Keinatsu can be scary in some spots. This is not one of them. And goodbye, Kane. I'll be interested to see if Warlink, who's heading into Baron Castle right now, having the Baron key in hand, sees that Kane and decides to take him because we've got so much Kane gear on his side that Cecil isn't using.
Yeah, I'm looking at Fireblaser's team and I'm wondering where he's exactly going with this. Is he going to use Rydia as the anchor?
That doesn't seem likely at this point. My guess is that we're going to anchor with Fu since we've got that cursed ring. Yeah, Fu has the interesting property where he has a fixed 20 agility. The cursed ring sets him to 5 agility, which is a very desirable spot to have your anchor in.
There's Karate. That was our first boss here in Baron.
Yep.
All the freebies are disappearing quickly.
Okay, Fire Blizzard is through that turtle fight when Nuke from Fu ended it. So we're gonna get the key item from King Gyat here, and presumably we'll immediately see a warp after that to pick up the item from the sealed cave. There it is, courtesy of Fu.
We got a tower key, so no keyless tower for us tonight.
And that's the Darkness Crystal in its vanilla location again in Sealed Cave. So we now have Zeromus access, interestingly enough. So that means we're exactly a Luca key and a pink tail away from go mode on Pirate Blizzard's side.
Yeah, and that Luca key. We got a blue robe here. Oh, this is
that is the all gauntlet. We've already seen Waterhag.
Oh, Senator Crocodile was elected.
Does that make him President Crocodile this time around? No, we've got the entire Crocodile Senate here, so no.
Yeah.
We've got Edge, we've got Phlegm, we've got that Fu who may or may not have Quake on that side right now, but we should be able to get through these fights relatively quickly.
Has at least Virus, which is fine enough for this spot. It's just a matter of who's probably not gonna get a turn.
That's true. Not with this party composition.
No.
Or rather, a party order. Okay, Fire Blizzard is Fire Blizzard's through Dwarf. With that tower key in hand, is headed directly to tower to complete both of the key item checks that are possible. Oh, there's the curse ring going on Iridia, defying my expectations here.
Okay, I mean, really, all we need for Rosa is like a heroine robe, and we've got, you know, the warrior princess.
Yep. Yeah, Tower of Babel. It takes roughly, in my experience, 2.5 minutes to get all the way to the top of tower from the bottom. That's assuming you're not doing the super cannon check on the way up, which is quite possible if you've got the tower key in hand.
You always have to be careful of that tower key spot because it could have like an Ogopogo or a Leviathan there. And you want to make sure that you're healed up because if you're not, well. What's something to know about that spot? You can actually walk in, press A to get rid of the text box at the top to see what boss is there.
Oh, and remember how I was talking about finding a second Cecil earlier? Well, there's a second Cecil from Baron.
Yeah, if I find a second Cecil and I haven't found a shiny stick like from Treasury, me personally, I'd go to Evelyn. I'd want a shiny stick. And that right now, at least on Whirling side, has the highest chance. Plus, you get the experience on your Cecil to do anything underground.
Yeah. So Fiery Blizzard has gone straight to the top of tower. We find Dark Elf as the boss at the top of tower here. We do observe that Mom Bomb is the second hook fight. And that's the pink tail from Baron. So that Baron castle is straight up required.
Oh boy. Well, we get to see here what's actually at the pink tail spot. It's not going to be an adamant armor. It could be our shiny stick. And if it's our shiny stick, there's no point of Evelyn.
No, it's an adamant armor. No adamants is off on this in this YAML.
Well, okay then. Yeah, scratch that.
See, there you go. It's an adamant armor. Warlink is now a Luca key and Zeroma's access away from go mode. We know if he completes Dwarf and remembers to do the Warp Glitch, that he'll get the Darkest Crystal from Sealed Cave. And even if he doesn't remember to do the Warp Glitch, he'll need to complete Sealed Cave in order to complete that objective anyway. So he'll be getting that Darkest Crystal here.
Making a quick save here. You're probably gonna be checking the character. What could be looking for?
This is probably both a shop check, given what we've seen Warlink doing, and might be a character check as well. There's sirens.
And
hourglasses.
Like there's gold dragon fights right there that are free.
Yeah. Still requires you to get up to the moon first, and Warlink doesn't have the Darkest Crystal yet, so we may yet see him take a few eggs at some point. I did see. Oh, there's the heroine robe. If we want Rosa, Warrior Princess Rosa, that's not happening yet, though. I did see Assassin Dagger. There's no weapon shop there, which may prove to be relevant as well, but probably not.
Looks like we got the pan from the top of the tower. And here we go into Evelyn.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of the time, if you're intent on checking the Evelyn trap chest, which I think is what Warlink is planning on doing here, you want to check the shops in Cave Evelyn first for hourglasses especially, or if not that, then something like coffins. Yeah, and in this case, we've got the hourglasses.
Well, even though we've got enough power with the Fu, we can size or we can quake most of the fights.
Like, Warlink is not going to have any difficulty at all with these fights.
Yeah, and there's a free fight there in the tower key of the Kaipo guards.
We're running out of free fights here, but that might not matter very much. I think the only free boss fight left, so to speak, is the Dark Imps. I think that's the only one we haven't seen yet.
The only one we haven't seen yet is the Dimps.
Anyway,
Nylon Z is relatively free with Cecil.
Yeah, depending on where Mylon Z shows up, that fight could be over in one hit.
We've got the Avengers, so we just need one shiny stick.
Yeah.
In all reality.
All right, Warlink has cleared the first trap chest. Let's see what our reward is from doing this.
Well, I mean, 17 levels on a Cecil. I'm happy with that.
That too. Just a protect ring, so totally the 17 levels on Cecil is the real prize there. Warlink is ignoring the rest of the chests. It's just making a beeline directly for the other two trap chests here as well, which isn't exactly surprising.
Yeah. I mean, with the loot we have, we're just looking for something greater than what would be in regular chests. So,
well, I mean, I say that, but of course, Warlink was in Eblin earlier. We can see all of the rest of the chests have been looted already.
Yeah, this is one of those fights you have to be a little worried of the Black Cat Lamia, but there's the Twin Harp from the Tower Key.
Yep. With the knowledge that this is most likely K-main only, that heart becomes slightly more interesting. But we're in a position where we need exactly one key item on Fiery Blizzard's side, which is, two in Fire Blizzard's case, because Fire Blizzard doesn't have the pink tail yet. But we're looking for exactly that Luca key, and one check specifically isn't particularly desirable. Turning in this pan, we'll get Fire Blizzard 2 additional checks over and above the hook that we know lives in in Fabul.
Yeah, and checking totally on the way. I saw the party set up for making sure Fu had Quake, and we had somebody cursed to make Fu RA1 to take out this fight instantly.
Yeah, with the right party setup, which is exactly what you see here, for basically any of the traps chests that you find in Self Cave, you can just have your party member in the top slot Quake and the fight.
Well, there's the shiny stick.
Yep.
That's a crystal sword for Fiery. Well, the scales tip just a little bit to the right. We'll see what Warlink gets out of here. Will it
just
go back
Artie
to
arrows?
Artie arrows, not bad though.
I say just Artie arrows, but with that Rosa in the party, that could be significant if we find some dragon bosses.
Yeah, so Pan Bonk has been done. Now it's the single dip for Bull.
The coveted single dip for Bull. I guess technically speaking, Fiery Blizzard also hasn't found the hook yet. We know he's about to from doing the Fubul defense, but that's one of the other key items that he needs from this.
Yeah. And so at that point, we're looking at like Luca or Spoon, or even Adamant Bean from that Twin Harp.
So we know the Fubul defense check gets the hook. Oh, Fire Blizzard is going directly up to Sheila to get the two key items from this first, interestingly enough. So we know this isn't hook, we know this isn't pink tail. One of these has a good chance of being the Luca key, though.
Well, I mean...
There's the spoon.
Yeah. Spoon.
And there's the Luca key.
Well,
okay, we are now in no mode. We know where all of the required key items are, so I think this is going to hinge on how quickly does Warlink get up tower, which I think is going to be after this dwarf check, and how quickly does Fire Blizzard decide to go and check Baron?
Yeah.
Which I wouldn't be surprised if Fire Blizzard decides to do Baron immediately after this.
Well, it's a toss-up between Baron and Twin Harp on Fiery side and that Rat Tail. Like, you're halfway over to Twin Harp right now. You got the Rat Tail to turn in for another key item. So, I mean, you've got one that's a free turn and no fights required. You've got one that's a long cutscene, but is also appreciated by chat. And then you have one that's two bosses. So it's always a toss-up on where you're going to go in this aspect.
Okay, well, Warlink will be picking up the Rat Tail himself in just a couple of moments. Yeah, I think with the hook that we get from the Fubul defense here, Fire Blizzard will turn in the Rat Tail first, and then we will see where he goes from there. I still think it's likely that he's going to go to Baron immediately after the Rat Tail turn in.
Yeah, it's a toss up on that one because we're relatively about the same time. And Warlink
Okay.
going back up above to turn in that rat tail.
Yeah, so we're going to get roughly simultaneous rat tail turn-ins here. So this, we don't have very many things left that this could be. This could be the pass. This could be the adamant rock, and it's the pass.
Well, I mean, darkness not required now.
Yeah, darkness no longer required.
Do we even raise the whale?
Uh, you don't even need to raise the whale in this case. Well, we know that if this is K-main only, which it virtually certainly is at this point, then you probably don't need to turn in you probably don't need to raise the whale anyway, because you just need to finish doing key item checks in order to get that pass from somewhere. Because again, with the way this is configured right now, you're guaranteed to get the pass as one of your key item checks.
And here, fire goes to Baron.
Yep, is checking the shops in Baron. It's a ninja shirt for his troubles.
I mean, ninja shirt's good. I mean, doesn't have the adamant armor for the Cecil, so I mean, black belt pretty good. And the ninja shirt is a great magic defense for the edge.
Yep. Alright, so, but this is, Fire Blizzard is en route to go mode now, completing the Liberate Baron casual check. We'll get him with a pigtail, which will turn immediately for an adamant armor, and then he just needs to do his preparations to fight Zeromus.
Yeah, and it's how confident does he feel? Because I mean, this is a part you could technically do with a solo foo, with Nuke and a couple Starvels and a couple elixirs.
You've got a Cecil, you've got an adamant armor available from the Pinktail, you've got a strength ring from somewhere at least. You'll probably want that Cecil to be hitting things during the Zeromus fight. Warlink is doing Keyless Tower, which is actually a relatively good play here.
Yeah, it doesn't need to do Dwarf, but may still do Dwarf because it's 2 key items with the Warp Witch, but does get the Pan here, which we know has the Luca key. So yeah, if Warlink turns in the Pan immediately, which I think is a reasonable play under the circumstances, because it's 2 effectively free key item checks, just needs time investment to do so, then he is also going to be in go mode. Yeah, then you come underground, do your bit of a grind, and then go to Z. Does not have that crystal sword that Fiery does, though, so we'll see if that ends up being a big difference or not.
Yeah, and of course, Fiery Blizzard does need to complete Sealed Cave before preparing for the Zeromus fight, which I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself here.
Yeah, I'm thinking of what bosses for Sealed Cave could be kind of a bit of annoying down there. But we've already seen out.
Yeah, who haven't we seen yet? Sadly, Alt Gauntlet is out. We could see Maga Sisters there. That would be aggravating. We could see, of course, something like Ogopogo is going to be annoying. Something like Wyvern is going to be annoying.
Well, I mean, we've got the curse ring, so like Wyvern is not a problem because we can do the anchoring for it. I'd say Maga Sisters would probably be about the worst one because it all depends on that first virus that comes out.
Yeah.
That adamant armor does nothing for the virus.
Yeah.
So that virus can come out, knock out the adamant wear, and then it gets real tricky.
There's a suggestion in chat that Evil Wall might be annoying there. With this party composition, Evil Wall is completely free. I'm assuming that Fiery is going to turn in the pink tail before heading down to complete Sealed Cave. That adamant armor that you get from that makes the fight completely free because you're basically immune to physical attacks from Evil Wall at that point, and you're immune to its crush attack. So you will have one party member who cannot be killed by Evil Wall.
Yeah. And that's really all you need.
Yeah.
Now in Fire's case, it's going to be the Crystal Sword Cecil. Yeah.
Our tracker says let's put Blarg at Luca. I think we can put more annoying things there of the remaining things left.
Yeah, I mean, we'd always hope for something, like
the alt gauntlet, which again we see it's right there at Baron, so that's out. Because those vamp ladies are kind of mean to deal with. Can't quake them because they're flying.
Okay, so Warlink is immediately going to turn in that pan from top of tower.
Yeah, and then probably we'll make a save down here and go turn in pan. Now, so you may be wondering why make a save down here in front of the pan bonk. Well, if pan turned out to be nothing, you reset and you go straight into dwarf.
Yeah, you don't need to spend time flying back down here or walking out of Evelyn Castle to do that. Okay, Fiery Blizzard is through the alt gauntlet in Baron. Warlink has done the pan bonk. While we headed. We'll see if he saves or not. I do think it's a reasonable chance that he does, but there's also a reasonable chance that he doesn't.
Doesn't say. Oh wait, going to dwarf.
He's at least parking in front of dwarf here.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna see a save and he's gonna lift off again immediately. Yep, that's exactly what happened. All right, there's the pink tail for Fiery Blizzard. We're going to see that turned in immediately, I think, and then Fiery Blizzard will head down to complete Sealed Cave for his last objective.
Oh, and then it's a matter of what level do you want to be to fight Z?
Yep. I think there's a small chance that we'll see a bit of prep before heading into Sealed Cave, but we've got enough party here, especially with that adamant armor, that we're not going to need to do that in advance of going down into Sealed Cave.
No, I wouldn't think so either.
We're far enough in the seed. We've got enough power that it's not going to be necessary. Warlink gets the Luca key. That puts Warlink in go mode as well. We're now at the point where both of our runners now only need to complete Sealed Cave before getting the crystal. Fire Blizzard is making a pit stop at probably Cave Eblin at this point.
2 tier 5 items, looking for sirens, looking for sirens majorly.
Yeah, well, Fire Blizzard is certainly going to find sirens here, so if that's the only intent here, we're just going to see a purchase of a stack of sirens, then we're getting out of here.
Yeah, because I think every other shop was checked besides Tamra, and there's your grind option.
I think we've seen the Tamra shop, and I didn't have anything irrelevant in it. Warlink is making a pit stop in the dwarf shop. Cure 3s, it looks like. Have we seen Bacchus anywhere?
No, we haven't. No, I don't think we have, because it was Coffins in Feymarch. I was doing Sirens in Eblin, so either Bacchus or they're going to be if they're on the moon.
If they're anywhere, they're going to be on the moon. Okay, well, here's the Tamra item shop check, so we'll know in a moment if I remember correctly I've seen this or not. Yeah, nothing of relevance there.
Not even. Are we going to Job Dwarf? Aw, no Job Dwarf check.
Once again, defying my expectations, Fire Blizzard is electing to start popping those sirens immediately. Whereas Warlink is headed directly into Sealed Cave at this point.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have to do it one way or another. So whether you do it earlier or you do it later, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Cecil shortchanging. Doing what, 1583 out of 1600?
Yeah, well, in a couple of eggs, I'll easily be one-shotting them.
Well, 1 egg is all you really need. You just got a couple more multipliers right now. So it's just kind of funny how he shorted it by like 70 HP.
Yep. It'd be like that sometimes.
Oh, it may not have been back road. That would definitely
that would certainly make the difference. Well, that's 3,200 damage, so...
Yeah,
how much of that is from
the... Yep, wasn't back road. One of the easiest ways you can tell is if you're like, wait a second, Cecil only doing 15 with a crystal sword? That doesn't sound right.
Yeah. The power of the back road glitch in action. Heart Blizzard only did like 2 sirens there, if I'm not mistaken, and is now also headed directly into Sealed Cave. This is going to be close.
Yeah, definitely. And only the biggest difference is the crystal sword on one person's side.
Yeah.
When you've got 2 Cecils, you've got 1 Cecil. I don't know.
Warlink putting the curse ring. Yeah, Warlink putting the curse ring on Phil, as I speculated might happen somewhere earlier.
I mean, Boo's not a bad character to curse, especially if you've got a Rosa that's got all the stat boosting gear.
Yep.
So we're probably gonna get the adamant rock. Oh, no, we've already gotten the item from here.
Yeah, the adamant rock is behind Twin Harp at this point.
Yeah, and you're not gonna turn that in. There's no point of doing it.
Yeah, Warlink hasn't done Dwarf yet. He's gonna pick up the tower key right here, right now. Wait, Darkness Crystals. Tower key was the other trick.
Mm-hmm.
Should know that. I specifically called it the vanilla Darkness Crystal.
Yeah, there's two scoops of vanilla in here.
Yeah. All right, who's our sealed cave boss? This is not as rude as it could be. Actually, we've got our character's back road. CPU, it can only deal damage in 10% increments. This spot only has like 10 or 11,000 hit points. No, it has a little more than that.
No plan Q. Gotta do plan Q. You avenge your 1 Cecil, you hit with the other one, you berserk up the bottom Cecil, and you start casting Meteo. The more enemies that's on the side, that's on the enemy side, the faster that Meteo goes off.
Yep.
And that's quad 9 damage right there. And doing the plan Q generally can get through this fight a little bit faster.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Fu does have the curse ring on in this case. It might not guarantee the quad 9s from Meteo in this case.
Well, Fiery going with the Avenger and Meteo.
Yeah. I think Fiery is actually probably going to complete this fight slightly faster if that Meteo goes off in sufficient time. Well, I mean, Cecil's also doing like 4,000 damage a swing if he hits the back orb there, so...
Yeah, and this Meteo should be coming out here shortly.
Literally better, because it's only the big orb left at this point.
Or is just gonna go... Yeah. About equal getting through the fight. 2 different strats. Well then,
now must be seeing double, because now we've got 2 people with the crystal at almost exactly the same time here.
Yeah. The question is, will they do a little bit of extra grinding beforehand or not? And will they actually Fiery go doing the warp out? Gotta go to the next room before you can actually cast warp. And there goes Warlink warping out as well. Does have to deal with the white magic from Meridia for the warp. Oh no, never mind.
He's using Fu for warp.
Yeah. Can't exit out of here because of storyline vanilla stuff.
Yeah. But with the right setup, you can warp out of here fairly quickly, and that's what we're seeing here.
Yeah. And there's certain rooms where it's a minor difference to warp out or not. As we see, our runners know which rooms those are. I mean, if you've got perfect inputs with a little bit of a Plink style, then you can just warp through every room and it's the fastest. But I've knowledge.
Yeah, I've timed it briefly before. If you get everything like fairly tight and input in a fairly tight window, it's about 40 seconds to get out with pure warp.
Yeah, I mean, I've done the timing for Zot, so you've done sealed, I've done Zot. I timed it for warp, jumping. And,
it's relevant for a certain flag set for a certain club that I run, where sealed cave is guaranteed to be an objective, and it's not. You can't always get away with saving it for last in a no-win game seed. Okay, and we do see both of our runners are electing to do a few more eggs just to get our party up to 0 Mr. Ready levels here. I can't think that this is going to take especially long, especially on Fiery Blizzard's side where you've got the Adamant Crystal Sword Cecil, who could basically carry the entire Zeromus fight by himself.
Yeah, I'd probably see maybe do one more, get roasted like 18. I don't know, and maybe go for 2100. That's a little bit safer of a Rosa. But about an 1800, I'm okay with, you know, especially with having the white shirt protecting tiara. Like Rosa is decked to the teeth in anti-magic gear.
Yeah. All right, and at roughly the same time, our runners say enough is enough and are now presumably both headed up to the Zeromus fight. They both have the pass. Just need to make a jaunt down to Troya to turn that pass in and get us immediately to Zeromus.
Yeah, I mean, both these runners are kind of be getting into. Well, okay. What are you doing, Warlink? What are you doing?
Warlink is probably just picking up some last minute supplies. Soma drops. There's also Silk Webs there, but he just bought a stack of Soma drops. Probably for Fu, I would hazard a guess. All right, but we are starting to see these mysterious flags in chat. I don't think it's quite late enough for it to be nap time. So, what could this possibly mean, Tybalt?
I've always noticed nap time. I mean, at least for me. I mean, we're sitting. It is a little early for nap time. No, it's not. It's not time for a nap, even though we all like them. It has to do with Zeromus, the final boss of the game. We can't move him around because he's too powerful for us. I mean, I think you're like me. We'd all love to see like Zeromus sitting there in a trap chest or at like Mist Cave.
Well, we don't have B Trap on yet. I'd love to see Zeromus in Atline personally, but go
right. No, however, since we can't move him around, we decided to change who he is. So the biggest question is, whose butt are we gonna kick tonight?
And of course, the many other supplemental questions that go along with it. Is it cute? Does it have a hat? Is the hat cute?
Oh, yeah,
does it play an instrument?
What, the instrument's a new one.
That's a relatively recent one. But I like asking it anyway.
I mean, I know a hat, I know cute, but the music one.
Alright, there's the Crystal Throw on Fiery Blizzard's side. Also swaps the Avenger onto Cecil to activate the Avenger glitch. Who we got?
I'm curious, do you have a favorite Z Sprite?
Not off the top of my head. This is... I don't remember the name of it, but this is one of the vehicles from F-Zero.
Yeah, with the... I can't think of the game. All I can think of is Falcon Punch. Yeah, like Color Goober in chat. That's all I can think of is Falcon Punch.
The Blue Falcon, that's it. Thank you, chat.
A nuke comes out, and the counter nuke goes right towards Rydia.
It's fine because Rydia is anchoring on Fiery Blizzard's side.
Alright, we're about to have the crystal thrown on Warlink's side. Warlink found an Excal, the still a shiny stick, not the shiniest. So he'll be swinging with 2 Excal Cecils here.
Yeah, I think Fiery Blizzard got into the fight soon enough in advance that he's still going to finish before Warlink is at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say it's a little hard to say because those Cecils are going to be doing a lot of damage. Where Fiery's darting for the extra damage.
Our tracker points out that the Excal was from the Lamia trap chest in Evelyn Castle, which both of us missed.
Yeah. Here comes out the Silk Web. And it goes on Edge.
It just takes the counter nuke and gets knocked out. We've got enough time that we can pick up Edge before that first big bang comes out, I think.
Just wait until after, and then you can start your spoon with a quad 9. Both runners just swinging away. As now we finally get a berserk on the Edge on Fire Blizzard side.
Yep. I guess in retrospect, with the Edge in hand, if you really wanted the Bacchus line, you could have gone and stolen it, but I guess nobody felt like doing that this time around.
I mean, the two locations really steal it from are either from Evelyn Castle or Twin Harp.
Yeah, well,
not doing Twin Harp. And
you could still just go far enough into the cave that you get the appropriate encounter to steal from, but that's
right, but you still have to worry about being paralyzed from wearing metallic gear.
Yep, that too.
Black hole on Fiery Blizzard side, so that that Edge is no longer Zerk, but that Cecil still is, because that Avenger.
Yeah, the beauty of the Avenger glitch, you don't need to reapply the Zerk to Cecil.
I guess the damage reduction, though.
There's rocks on Fiery Blizzard side. It's going to take basically 1 or 2 more hits for the fight to end.
That's Cecil.
There it goes. That's the crack. Boom. Fiery Blizzard has completed the race in on restream first place between the two runners. Overall in the race, second place. They had a finish earlier. Fire Blizzard has completed the race with a time of 1 hour, 8 minutes, and 56 seconds. GG's.
GG's to Fiery. We'll see if we can get him in here for an interview. Meanwhile, Warlink is just crunching away, reflecting some nukes on with the foo, and letting that Excal do the work.
And with that ding in our ears, I believe we are now joined by Fiery Blizzard. GG's to you.
Hey, how are you guys doing?
Doing pretty good. So, how happy were you got that crystal sword out of the Toad Lady chest?
Well, I figured, I don't know, these seeds generally go 17 out of 17 with K-Main, so I was like, I'll get a Holy Sword eventually from Forge. I was like, you know what, for the memes, let's go Toad Lady. Set up agility-wise, although I had to get the curse ring off of Iridia, because she just happened to be at 15 agility. I was like, yeah, let's try it. I was like, I'm not going to Evelyn this time. Everyone always goes to Evelyn. We have vanilla trap chest, so it's an easy play to make. But I was pretty happy to see a crystal sword for sure.
Yeah. So, it's still relatively early in the 99% of season. We've still got mostly fixed flag sets here, but do you have any thought processes going into figuring out what flags might or might not be set? Especially, we do have the low chances of like K summon K Moon at this point. Did that thought ever cross your mind, or was there anything you needed to work to figure out?
I mean, I think with the way the YAML is now, it's basically like just assume K main until you hit a Zonk, at which point then just assume K Moon. But I feel like there's no point in worrying about it until you actually hit a Zonk. So, the big one is just, I mean, I've been pushing for Xeno free, right? Because I am not a big fan of free characters. But with a hook objective in here with the trade away the pink tail, there's no point in going to like Watery Pass. You're gonna figure that out when you raise the hook or raise the hovercraft. I was like, okay, I guess free characters are on, so let's go to Mysidia. Maybe I can get an exit mage.
Yeah, but you were rewarded with an edge out of that Mysidia.
Yeah.
And in the end, you did get your exit mage, in a sense.
Got multiple exit mages. I apologize for fading the one check that only everyone wants to see on stream.
Dwarf?
Is of course. I mean, I could do that too, but more harp.
Yeah, that too.
But I figured I don't know, it was between Baron and Harp. I was like, one of these is going to give me a holy sword, and then I was like, if Baron gives me an adamant rather than the pink tail there, I was like, I probably am not gonna like having the trading away that second Cecil, because it's like, 2 holy sword Cecils zerked up in Z fight.
Well, and that of course requires you to have the 2 holy swords, which doesn't always happen.
No, but I mean, it was either going to be the adamant or the pink tail out of Baron, so it's going to be one or the other. Now, whether or not I would have taken the time to actually go forge, probably not.
Yeah, so we got some Final Fantasy VI music here. We all get to miss. Sadness.
Yes, I believe that I had a ladder seed with this like last night that had the same song.
Yeah, I feel like I've heard this at least 2 or 3 times lately, for who knows what reason.
No, it wasn't last night, because that was my race against you to Vault. That was something else, I think. Was that
No, it was. No, it was this.
Okay. I was like, I know this happened yesterday at some point.
Yeah. Oh, that was the mystery ladder race.
Where G-Dupe was on, and it was just stupid.
Get back a little bit on topic here. Any thoughts on this particular? See, like, I mean, it seems pretty straightforward.
Yeah, I think until we get deeper into the season, I think they're all going to be pretty straightforward. Maybe sometimes we'll get a curveball with Xenofree actually hitting, or maybe K-Moon will hit next week, hopefully. People are pushing for that, but until we really get to the higher percentages, it's sort of all going to play K-Main. But, that's what makes it fun. You look forward to later weeks. But in order to have your say, you have to play in these races, so...
Well, I do remember from last season that there was a fairly quick push to turn on K-Summon and K-Moon early on in the season. I wouldn't be surprised if we see something like that happen this time around as well.
And then save us Big Chocobo.
That's going to take a little bit longer this time around, I think.
Well, Commander Leonard's like, I'm not with this. I'm going to put minus 200 on top of the 200. So, yeah. Or no, that one's minus 50. K-Trapped has like 400 points to actually hit.
Yeah.
I don't even think we're going to get 400 points total this season, so that'll be interesting. But no, I mean, with that, this was a pretty straightforward seed. Edge is always nice to have early on. I don't know if Warlink went into Evelyn or not.
Yeah, we did see an Evelyn play. And got a X-Cal.
Okay. Not 3 X-Cals this week?
Nope.
That was a good week. No, with that, I see Warwick is leading. So thank you for commentating, Tybalt and S-Grunt, as always. Zalde for tracking, and Daphis for the restream. I'm going to go get some food. There's another ladder race at like 10 p.m. that I sort of want to go into. So looking forward to...
good luck with that.
Continuing on with Free Enterprise. So thanks again.
All right.
And as Fire was pointed out, we did have Warlink finish at 1 hour, 10 minutes, and 56 seconds shortly after Fiery Blizzard did, and we should be joined by him in just a few moments for an interview. And in fact, we are now joined by Warlink. GG's to you as well.
See, it is 10 out of 10. We'll race again.
Yeah, so GG's. We saw you dive there in Evelyn. Were you hoping for a shiny stick?
The first time or the second time? The second time, yes. I was looking for, hey, I got Adamant. I got a second Cecil. If I can find a shiny stick for one of them, I can, with the Avenger from the Treasury, I can like Avenger glitch with one and have the other one to hold the other, the Scout to use. So yeah, that's why I was like, you know what? I got these 2 Cecil. And also, I need to get some levels on the second Cecil I pick up just to get some levels to it. And yeah, I went into Evelyn the second time to get a shiny stick.
Do you want to know where the really shiniest stick was?
Not really, because I just laugh at. I just laugh the whole scene. It's like, wow, you have Well, you have to go through. You have to go through ordeals. The first two is like, oh, this is free, and then you see that Goba is like, oh, great.
Yeah.
And then I did the overall tour. So Val up in Hobbs with Sid. It's like, oh heck no, I'm not dealing with this. Hold that thought for a while. Did Baron and went up to check the package character with that edge. At that point, I was like, I could take that second edge if I can find more Hanzo Steel I picked up. And then I was thinking about debating that up to Zot. Found Paladin during the fight. It's like, oh wait, Sid is the objective. I'll go back over to Hobbs and pick him up. And then he shows up at Zot's like, never punished, okay. And then I just continue on that chain. It's like, there's no way this will pay off a second time, and then the pink toe show up, and I just after the all gauntlet, it's like, man, this seed's had lots of jokes.
Yeah, as it turns out, you made a lot of the right fades this time around, and the keyless tower actually turned out to be exactly the play that you needed. So.
Yeah, I'm feeling this is a feature that keyless tower has always been the play in like the past few weeks.
Hey, I mean, gotta love keyless tower, right?
The reason I reset out a dwarf is not because of Demas into Kanazo. It's that, oh wait, I didn't heal up, and then at that point it's like, you know what, I'll do the famous freebie and see what's that up, and just follow that chain to get the pass. Hopefully get 10 key items just to do like me, either do my full grind or something like that. But after that, it's like, let's do keyless tower. That's the objective, and hey, what's the chances this pays off? And it does. Like, wow, this has got to be a new feature that was added into free enterprise that Zoe and Boardface put in and didn't tell everyone.
And we always say that board AI is a thing, you know. The character you want to do something with always gets targeted first.
Right.
I don't have anything else for Warlink here. Do you? Yes, Grant?
I think I'm good here as well. Just any last thoughts you want to share with us on the seed or the race in general, Warlike?
It's kind of funny that the first key item and last key items are both vanilla. And then I thought, do I have any double vanilla in the freezer? And which I checked and I didn't. So it's not like I won't have any vanilla ice cream to enjoy right now. So anyways, this seed is just hilarious. After doing my grind, it's like, I wonder if anyone got caught into the rabbit hole through Dwarf Castle, because that's either Twin Heart or Tower Key. If that's Twin Heart, then that's wasting a lot of time getting to get the Tower Key to make you do the full tower play. But anyways, if you two don't have any questions, thank you to both you, Escron and Tybalt, for the commentary in this race. Zalde for pushing all the buttons, and Deathis for rolling this wonderful, wonderful seed. I need to share this to everyone.
All right, have a good evening, Warlink. Thanks you for the race. So that brings us to the end of tonight's stream. So for more free enterprise content in the near future, tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern will be the Monday Night Community Race featuring the flag set How Gola Stole Christmas.
Yeah, we have a Dark Matter hunt, and we actually debut not debut, but we get to play with one of our wacky flags. Free enterprise version of a playable Golbez, payable Golbez.
Looks like you might be asking about that. No, on Thursday, we'll have at 8 p.m. Eastern, we'll have the latest Restream race for the Pink Puff League, featuring our newer and less experienced runners, and a flag set featuring another wacky flag, Enemy Unknown. And of course, we'll have on Free Enterprise 2 on Friday at 10 p.m. Eastern will be the Friday Night Community Race. And on Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern will be the latest race in the Baron's Heroes Journey series. But that's all later in the week. Tim Walt, what about the rest of tonight? Where are we headed?
Well, tonight we're actually going to be heading on over to No Holidays Allowed. It's a charity marathon. They're benefiting Go Rescue Adoption Center. And actually, the run that's currently going on is one of our head engineers, Scala Kitty, doing Haven. So let's go ahead and cheer Xeon as they are running Haven. I know it looks like a pretty game to me, and let's go benefit Rescue Adoption Center.
Yeah, thank you all for watching and have a wonderful rest of the evening.